Hello, and welcome back to yet another video. This is the 31st episode of a story in which 10-year-old Naruto meets Minato from future and that turns Naruto's life upside down. As Naruto lives a happy life in which he is trained by Minato and later Kushina too. After you've finished watching, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. To begin, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get the party started.
The army of the Shinobi Alliance is ready. During the debriefing, Naruto reveals that he has the Kyuubi's ability to detect negative emotions and uses it to reveal the Zetsu clones infiltrated in the army, ending with the suspicions among allies. The leaders of the alliance also put in action their plan to protect the Jinchurikis, to teach them Kage Bunshin and distribute their clones and them among the different divisions so they would act as decoys and fight with the other ninjas at the same time. Their first target, Oto. A single bee headed back to its owner, a ninja with long blonde hair, black eyes and glasses named Shibachi, member of the Kamizuru clan, Iwa's-bee users. Hiding underneath that grove there is a base with a division formed by 30 enemy ninjas, 20 alive ninja from Oto and other minor villages, 5 undead ninjas, 3 of them Uzumakis and 2 Uchihas and finally 5 Zetsu clones, he said. That's very precise information, commented C, the division's leader. Bees are the best bugs for intel gathering. Wild ones have a unique way to communicate the hive where to find flowers, and those breed by our clan can give us precise mental images of what they saw, something more precise than certain chakra-eating bugs, said Shibachi with a cocky smile after making sure that Shino was listening. The Aburame ignored the jab from his clan's former enemy. It was a really fortunate event that the Kamizuru clan managed to find the Shodai Tsuchikage secret scroll. Thanks to it they are in the path to regain their former power, just when it is needed the most, replied Shino. Shibachi looked surprised at Shino at the revelation that he knew about the scroll's recovery but didn't say anything. Our former rivals getting stronger was an unexpected but welcome change from the original timeline, thought Shino. The Aburame remembered the infamous mission where Team 8 took with Naruto in order to find the ultra-rare Baikochu bug to use it to find Sasuke when they faced Shibachi alongside his sibling Kurobachi and Suzumabachi, who wanted to use the bug to find the Shodai's secret scroll. At the end Konoha's team won the bug but they couldn't use it to find Sasuke due to Naruto's but deciding to betray him. But things were different in this timeline, thought Shino. Sasuke didn't defect the village and we didn't need to find him. When I remembered about the Baikochu and headed to get it for other uses, I found out that the Kamizuru clan got it first. Never mind, things are better this way. Watch out, they saw us, cried C. The two ninja groups engaged each other. The ninjas from Oto and the other ninja villages fought valiantly but the majority of them were quite inexperienced, probably rookie chunins at best, and were struggling against the more experienced ninjas from the alliance. The danger came from the Zetsu clones due to their durability and the Edo Tensei zombies. Wait! Some of the normal ninjas are actually Zetsus, exclaimed the Naruto clone assigned to their division. Understood, exclaimed Fu, or her clone, who unleashed 2 tails of power and used it to alter her glowing powder technique, turning into the equivalent of a strong acid that caused a lot of pain to the normal ninjas, almost nothing to the zombies, and forced the disguised Zetsus to reveal themselves. The enemy combatants fell one by one until only the Edo Tensei zombies remained. Combine bug tactic, exclaimed C. The alliance attacked the zombies with renovated drive until they were almost back to back, moment that the bug users used to immobilize them with a web that Fu created thanks to the nanobi, wax from Shibachi's bees and a chitinous substance from Shino's bugs. As soon as it was confirmed that the zombies were immobilized, the allied ninjas attacked them with the strongest jutsus they could use, destroying their bodies, and immediately used Minato's seals to liberate their souls. After using all the sensor skills of all the group to make sure that there were no more enemies at the zone, C addressed his division. Report your status, anybody wounded? He asked. At first it looked like everyone was fine, but C noticed that 2 ninjas from Mist and a Kunoichi from IWA were trying too hard to pretend that they were fine, and C decided to examine them, confirming some cuts, burns, and broken bones. as the division's main medic Nin C began to treat them. Remember that we are now allies, there is no need to hide our weakness, in fact it is counterproductive, pointed Shino. We can take care of ourselves, it is bad for the group if the leader expends his chakra healing us, pointed the oldest Kiri ninja, who according to his age probably graduated during his village's bloody times. You don't have to worry about chakra with me around, said the Naruto clone while he put his hand on C's shoulder. Those ninjas with sensory abilities felt how a fraction of the clone's chakra passed to C's body, filling his reserves to the max. It was not the first time they saw the Naruto clone doing that but still left them speechless from the implications, especially C. The only one who didn't was affected by Naruto's ability was Shino, mainly because he saw a more impressive exhibition of that power during the Fourth Ninja War of the original timeline when Naruto shared the Kyuubi's chakra with the ninjas of the Alliance. Until the aftermath of the war we didn't find out that it was actually an inherent power of Naruto that had been there the whole time instead of one of the abilities that he acquired during the conflict. Naruto Uzumaki happened to be an universal chakra donor/receptor. This is not the same as when a ninja pumps chakra into another with low chakra reserves in order to fuel the jutsu he is performing. Usually ninjas can't donate chakra to each other to refill their reserves due to incompatibility, is similar to blood types but with the difference that each chakra signature counts like an unique blood type. There are special cases of rare universal receptors able to steal chakra like my clan's bugs, the sword Samahata and that Yoroi guy who worked for Orochimaru but never an universal donor until Naruto, who also was a receptor. The Aburame reminded the feeling of the Kyuubis through his body during the original Fourth Ninja War. The power of Naruto's chakra was the reason he managed to share the Kyuubi's chakra with everyone. He acted like a converter, making the fox's chakra compatible with whoever he wanted. Now I see why Minato, Danzo and Kushina-sama were so adamant to bane Naruto to reveal this power until the alliance was formed after he was told about it. It's a game-changer power. In a battle scenario like this he can use his massive reserves to recharge the strongest allied ninjas so they can use their most powerful jutsus with more frequency, and in the case of the medic nins they no longer have to worry about reserving their chakra for those critical wounds that can't be treated by conventional first aid techniques, meaning that they can use their chakra to keep the group completely healthy all the time. And if it was not enough that Naruto's status as Jinchuriki grants him Kage chakra reserves, in the rare cases where his clones and him are almost out of chakra they just have to ask the ninjas of the supply lines for a refill, giving them a more significant role in the war, he thought. C was having his own thoughts about Naruto. No wonder why Kumo's council wanted so much to capture Kushina Uzumaki all those years ago. The Uzumakis aside from the vitality and big chakra reserves their chakra may have special powers that vary depending on the individual. Ultra-strong chakra that even Bijus can't break in Kushina's case, healing chakra like that Karen girl and Naruto's universal chakra. It's a pity that Kumo couldn't capture any Uzumaki when Yuzu was destroyed or that Naruto doesn't resent Konoha. We would have received him with open arms, he thought. C stopped his speculations and addressed his allies. Well done, that was the third group we defeated. We were lucky that this one didn't include those freaky experiments that we saw in other bases or had some of the strongest zombies, he said. It is a real drag to have to search for Odo's bases and take them. It would be simpler if Odo just concentrated most of its forces in a single place like most villages do, complained Jibachi. You are right, commented Anara. But we have to admit that from a strategic point of view Orochimaru had a good idea to plan Odo as a series of underground bases hard to find and easy to defend that force a superior force to divide itself to take them. Yes, that makes Odo the only hidden village that is actually hidden but it hardly can be called a village at all, commented the Naruto clone. Okay, rest time is over, let's report to the command center that this zone is clear and advance to the next 1 inch, ordered C. Elsewhere things were not as easy for a group led by Baki that included Ebisu and clones of Naruto and Yujito. The base they were attacking happened to be one of Orochimaru's main prison/laboratories, a place filled with the Sanin's failed experiments. Even tough, the group was formed mainly with veterans from the Second and Third Ninja Wars who saw their share of horrors, the vision once human experiments that they fought would give them nightmares for the rest of their lives. The best thing they could do was to finish the poor devils as swift as possible and keep going. I lament that monster Orochimaru is dead, because with each horror we find here my urge to make him suffer grows more and more, growled the Naruto clone. It's better this way. He was a very dangerous and twisted fellow, even our enemies acknowledged that and didn't bring him back, commented Yujito. The Naruto clone didn't say anything and used a futon Rasengan to destroy a vaguely humanoid creature with 5 arms and 4 legs that tried to ambush them. Yes, I can't believe that my son trained someone like that, said a voice before the group. They turned to see a group of ninjas with the black eyes and crumbled skin of the Edo Tensei zombies, led by 2 ninjas, one of them holding a huge staff. Konohamaru? Asked the Naruto clone at the resemblance of the newcomer with his younger friend. No, it's not him, it's his great-grandfather, the old man's father, Sarutobi Sasuke. The other leader was one of the main reasons Konoha got so many enemies during the last decades, Shimura Danzo. Damn it! They are classified as S+ class, exclaimed Ebisu. Attack with everything you can, cried Baki while he created a tornado of cutting wind. Yujito went into tailed beast mode and charged at Danzo, who uncovered his eye revealing a Sharingan. So Kumo's weaker Jinchuriki got full control of her beast. That's unacceptable, that makes you a threat to Konoha, he said while he dodged her attack. Konoha and Kumo are allies now, you fossil, cried Yujito. That's a mere truce. When this war is over, Kumo will attack Konoha. Now that it has 2 perfect Jinchurikis, it won't happen. You will have your beast extracted soon, responded the War Hawk while he summoned a gigantic tapir. The beast charged at Yujito, but she received it, taking the Nibi's full form. What a delicious treat, commented Matatabi. Meanwhile, Baki and the others were fighting Sarutobi Sasuke and the other Edo Tensei zombies with hit-and-run tactics, dividing themselves in trios, with 2 of them attacking the zombies with their strongest jutsus to destroy their bodies and the third using the seal to liberate them. However, that tactic didn't seem to work against Sasuke, who repelled all the attacks with ease, but for some reason he didn't attack back. Meanwhile, Matatabi was winning her fight against the tapir with little trouble. While powerful, boss summons had no chances against tailed beast, and they only could slow them down at best. It was even worse with Matatabi, with the 2-tailed cat's physical form manifesting itself as living fire. Realizing that it would die if it kept fighting, Danzo's tapir unsummoned itself. Your lackey is gone, old man. Really, you thought that it could defeat us? Asked Matatabi. No, it just gave me the time to unseal my arm. Now it is when you will realize that you don't have any chance to win, responded Danzo while he revealed a wood arm full of Sharingan eyes. Oh shit. He was brought back with that too, thought Yujito, pretty aware of how dangerous was the combination of Mokuton and Sharingan for a tailed beast. Danzo shot branches from his arm, but Yujito and Matatabi dodged it and sent a fireball that set the wood ablaze but didn't consume it. Mokuton's wood, it's not conventional wood, we can't burn it, it absorbs from the closest chakra source to repair itself, for that reason it can restrain us tailed beasts, it absorbs our chakra and uses it to restore itself so quickly that it looks like we can't break it. I found it the hard way when that Hashirama Hokage captured me, explained Matatabi. Well, then we will just have to dodge the branches. Luckily you are the most agile tailed beast, it won't be a problem, pointed Yujito, aware of how much Matatabi liked to be praised. Things were going better for Baki and the other ninjas, with most the zombies liberated and only Sarutobi Sasuke left. However, Baki didn't get cocky, he knew that such legendary ninja was holding back. Ebisu saw him, in the ceiling, a clone of Sasuke in the lotus position. He remembered from his talks with the time travelers how Naruto's future self solved the problem of one of his most powerful techniques, a technique that Sarutobi Sasuke also had, and he realized that Madara told him the solution. Destroy that clone, he cried while he threw shurikens and used the Kage Shuriken no Jutsu technique to multiply them. But it was too late, the meditating clone dispelled before he was his duty completed. Then, those fighting Sasuke were thrown away with a flick of his hand. Those who didn't end unconscious saw that his upper body was now covered with a brownish fur, his hair now looked longer and wilder and his eyes turned yellow, covered by red mark. He also got a monkey tail that he used to knock an ANBU who tried to attack him from the back. "What kind of technique is that?" asked Baki. "A technique that he taught to his student the Shodai Hokage, although he looked different on him because he didn't have the monkey contract," said Ebisu. "What does have the monkey contract have to do with?" "Wait. Don't tell me that this technique is," babbled Baki, realizing what they were fighting against. "Yes," continued Ebisu, "it is Sage Mode. History lessons at the academy say little about the periods before the founding of the villages, but the children went to sleep with the stories of Sarutobi Sasuke, the monkey sage. It is relieving to see that people still remember me after all these decades. A pity that I'm forced to fight you. I would have wanted to know more about the village system that my student started," commented Sasuke. "It has its flaws, but children have the chance to live the closest thing to normal childhoods possible in a ninja world, and ninja clans have places where they can feel safe surrounded by allies," said Ebisu while he got in guard. Baki and he defended themselves as good as they could, but they had little chances against a sage and soon they were in semi-conscious in the ground. With a sigh of regret, Sasuke was about to finish them when a fire attack coming from behind forced him to dodge. He saw the boy identified as the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki or his clone, a red-haired girl with glasses who seemed to be an alive Uzumaki and an old man in battle gear. So that's the reason he dispelled himself at the beginning of the fight. He teleported reinforcements, he thought. He ignored the Jinchuriki and the girl who went after the wounded and focused his attention in the old man. There was something disturbingly familiar in him. "I dreamed a lot with the day I would meet you again, but I never imagined that it would be in the opposite sides of a ninja war." "Father," said Sarutobi Hiruzen, filled with emotion. "Son. It's that you? You really got old," said Sasuke. "Yes, many battles and 3 ninja wars, but I didn't find my demise. I really hope to not live to see another war," said Hiruzen. "How's the clan?" asked Sasuke while he advanced towards his son. "Stronger than ever. One of my children was once one of the Guardians of Fire and now he is one of Konoha's best jonins. The other is one of the best ANBU and gave me a grandchild who wants to become Hokage," said Hiruzen getting in guard. "Oh yes, it's some decades late, but I should congratulate you for becoming the 3rd Hokage. I heard that you were the Kage who lasted more in his seat," pointed Sasuke while he attacked Hiruzen. The Sandaime created a stone wall between them that was destroyed by the sage's enhanced punch but gave him the time to put some distance between them. It was followed by an exchange of attacks and jutsus that destroyed the battlefield. Sasuke looked how his aged son panted a little. "I regret that I was not summoned some decades earlier, when you were in your prime and became the 3rd person to receive the title of God of Shinobi," he commented. "Yes, age and indulgence made a mere shadow of my former self," said Hiruzen between breaths, "but since the 4th warned me about Madara's return 3 years ago I began to develop a special technique. I used it for first time when I destroyed Danzo's root division, one of my biggest mistakes. This technique takes practically a 5th of my chakra reserves, but it is worth it." Sasuke saw how his son performed an extremely long sequence of seals at incredible speed and ended clapping. Cried Hiruzen while his body had several spams and was covered with smoke. When the smoke dispelled, Hiruzen removed his helmet and everyone included Sasuke gasped at the sight. Before them there was a man in his 30s who looked a lot like Asuma and had the Sandaime's trademark eye marks. "The Sandaime, is why young again," cried Ebisu. "And hot," thought Karen. The rejuvenated Hiruzen looked at his father with a confident smile. "One thing I always regretted was that I never had time to learn Sage Mode myself with the missions and my Hokage responsibilities, and when I had the time my body was too old to handle nature chakra without previous experience," he said. "However, I managed to develop my own enhanced mode. a mode that allows me to combine the skill and experience of age with the power and energy of youth. I call this the Prime Mode, and so began the real fight between the Monkey Sage and the third god of Shinobi. The power of Naruto as an universal chakra receptor/donor gives the alliance a very important advantage. However, the enemy forces are not easy to defeat, as seen by the group that has to face Danzo with both the Sharingan and the Mokuton and the legendary Sarutobi Sasuke, revealed to be a monkey. However, Naruto brought the Sandaime to the fight, who revealed his new technique, the Prime Mode, a technique that temporarily restores his youth, turning him again into the god of Shinobi. The rejuvenated Hiruzen made some hand signs. "I'll go all out since the beginning. I'll use the most banned technique from the Forbidden Scroll, a technique that will bring the strongest fighters from another world. Kuchios no Jutsu, extremely broken ally," he cried while he slammed his hand in the ground. After life of another reality, some minutes earlier King Yenma watched in horror how Super Buu absorbed Gohan, turning stronger than ever and leaving the recently resurrected Goku without a partner for the Pot-era Fusion. "I was a really wise decision to keep Vegeta's body and send him to help. Now Goku will have the best partner possible," he thought. Elemental Nations, back to the present. A great seal with intricate patterns appeared where Hiruzen slammed his hand. Sasuke, Sarutobi and Danzo tried to stop the technique, but it was too late. Two figures appeared. The shortest of them was a short man dressed in a blue bodysuit who had the most spiky hair Hiruzen ever saw and a widow's peak. He also had a halo over his head. He was shouting at the other man, a tall fellow dressed with a red gi with a blue undershirt who had a pronounced mustache, hairy arms and chest, afro hair and some strange earrings. The short man was really angry with the other, who just ignored his shouts. "Stupid cockroach, Gokul or whatever you call yourself now. You completely blew Buu before we could find a way to save Trunks, your brats, and that Namekian. Now they are dead," he cried. "Gwa, ha, ha, ha. I'm sorry Vegeta, when Buu charged at me I got scared and attacked with the strongest Kamehameha the first could make. I never expected that it would obliterate him completely, although I shouldn't be so surprised. I'm the world champion after all, Gwa, ha, ha, ha," said Gokul, the Fusion of Son Goku and Hercule Satan. "How the hell you are strong enough to defeat a Buu that had Gohan absorbed? Satan was just a regular human. There is no way that he could have given Kakarot such a boost in power. In fact, it wouldn't have been surprising if you turned out to be weaker than Kakarot," cried Vegeta. "I'm also surprised by that. I suppose that due to Satan being a human and Goku being a Saiyan that makes me a Demisaiyan, like Gohan, a Demisaiyan who retroactively got Goku in Satan's years of training and without the mental barriers that inhibited Gohan to access to his full power," said Gokul. Vegeta was speechless. That explanation made sense. Demisaiyans were potentially the strongest species he ever saw. Gohan was the strongest not fused/absorbed being of their universe, even though he spent most his life not training, and Trunks and Goten achieved Super Saiyan before being 10. How strong could get at adulthood one who trained all his life? Then he realized that they were no longer in the earth they knew. "You," he said pointing at Hiruzen, "are you the one who brought us here? Bring back to our world immediately." I'm sorry, but the technique that I used to bring you will last until my enemies are defeated," apologized Hiruzen, now pretty aware that the jutsu that he used was forbidden for a reason. Gokul looked at Sasuke Sarutobi. "Hey, you look like a Saiyan but more hairy. Do you want to spar?" "Don't worry, I will hold back so you will enjoy the fight too, Gwa, ha, ha, ha," said Gokul. Without any word, Vegeta threw a ki blast that completely obliterated Sasuke and Danzo, making the regeneration of the Edo Tensei zombies impossible because there was not anything left of them. "Hey, I wanted to show my awesomeness," complained Gokul. "No shows, let's defeat this weakling's enemies quickly so we can go back home," commanded Vegeta. 3 hours later the Fourth Ninja War was over with an overwhelming victory for the Alliance. Even with the Edo Tensei zombies, Madara's forces had no chance against a pair of supermen who could sense their exact locations at any distance and blow planets with no sweat. Monster ninjas like Obito or Madara himself were easily defeated. Obito's dimensional jumping powers were not so impressive against someone who could sense other people's energy signatures through other worlds and teleport to his personal dimension, and Madara couldn't use his eye-based genjutsu against opponents who had their eyes closed but always knew where he was. When he was defeated, Vegeta and Goku immediately returned to their universe, without giving the ninjas the chance to thank them. Back to their universe, Goku and Vegeta reunited with Dende, the dog, and the Kaioshins, and traveled to New Namek, where they reunited the Dragon Balls to summon Porunga. They decided that the first wish would be to repair the damage caused on Earth, the second to revive those who died since the day Babidi and Dubra arrived on Earth minus the extremely evil, and the third to undo Goku and Satan's pot-era Fusian. The first wish was granted without any problem. When they casted the second, Goku was happy to sense Fat Boo's energy signature among the revived. He also noticed that Vegeta's halo disappeared. "Hey Vegeta, look, you resurrected, that means that you are not extremely evil," he commented. Vegeta was speechless. He knew that he was no longer the bloodthirsty scion he once was, but to be considered good enough to be back to life after everything he did was shocking. "Gwa, ha, ha, ha. You should look at your face, Vegeta. I wish I had a camera," commented Goku. A camera appeared on his hands. "Your third wish is granted, now I leave," said Porunga. Everyone looked at Goku, whose eyes now looked like tiny dots, with their jaws touching the ground. Well, we just have to wait 6 months until Earth's Dragon Balls recover their power to separate," said Dende. Back on Earth, they reunited with their friends and family at Kami's lookout. Trunks and Bulma were very happy to see Vegeta back. The same happened with Videl when she saw her father, although she found strange that he was now dressed as Gohan and his father. "Excuse Mr. Satan, do you know where is my father? And why are dressed like him?" asked Gohan. Then Vegeta explained everything, including the fact that they would have to wait 6 months to have Goku and Satan back. Chi-Chi fainted. Goten was happy to know that he would have his dad back in some months. Videl fell to her knees at the revelation that her father actually saved the world this time and now was part of the strongest being of the universe. Gohan put a hand on her shoulder to comfort her. Goku looked at him with a very serious face. "I'll let it pass this time, but I won't allow you to date Videl unless you defeat me," he stated. Goku lifted the prohibition after Chi-Chi woke up and threatened him to not cook for him. The Satan, Sun families and Fat Bu went to live together until they could summon Shenron again, with Goku having to sleep in the couch. Back to the elemental nations. "Hey, Sasuke, look, these are the pendants that the hero Goku wore," said Naruto. "Why do you have them?" asked Sasuke while he took one of them. "He said that he no longer needed them and that they would help us if our world got threatened," commented Naruto. "How do they work?" asked Sasuke. "He told me that a strong fighter has to put one on one here and another strong fighter has to put the other in the opposite here," said Naruto while he put a pendant on his left ear. "How, like this?" asked Sasuke while he put the other pendant on his right ear. Then a mysterious force pushed them against each other. The power of Naruto as an universal chakra receptor/donor gives the alliance a very important advantage. However, the enemy forces are not easy to defeat, as seen by the group that has to face Danzo with both the Sharingan and the Mokuton and the legendary Sarutobi Sasuke, revealed to be a monkey. However, Naruto brought the Sandaime to the fight, who revealed his new technique, the Prime Mode, a technique that temporarily restores his youth, turning him again into the god of Shinobi. Danzo and Sasuke Sarutobi looked speechless at the rejuvenated Hiruzen Sarutobi. The War Hawk couldn't help but to be scared at the vision of his old rival at his prime again. Now he understood why he could destroy his root so easily during the invasion. Sasuke looked at the man that was once his little boy with pride. Now he understood why the other summoned ninjas referred as him as the god of Shinobi. An impressive technique, son, worth of his name. "You don't know how happy you make for giving me the chance to fight you at the height of your abilities," he said while he began to perform some hand signs. The same goes for me, father, responded Hiruzen while he made the same hand signs. Thanks to his stolen Sharingan, Danzo recognized the sequence as the summoning technique. They are trying to summon Enma at the same time. The one who finishes first will be the one who will get that monkey at his side, he thought. Sasuke was really fast with the hand signs, but Hiruzen's experience with the jutsu prevailed, allowing him to finish first. Kuchios no Jutsu. Summoning technique, come to my help Monkey King Enma, he cried. A humanoid figure covered in white fur and dressed in a regal and ancient style appeared. Enma, the Monkey King, one of the strongest summons. He looked at Hiruzen, then at Danzo and Sasuke. Nice to see you, Sasuke, a pity that we have to meet in these circumstances, he said. Hello, Enma. Thank you for helping my son during all those years. He wouldn't have turned into the Kage with the longest term without your help, said Sasuke with a small bow. HMPF, he was a fine lad but too soft with traitors, as happened with Hashirama and you with Madara. We wouldn't be in this situation if you both killed him, as Tobirama and I suggested. In Hiruzen's case things would have been easier if he killed that necrophile at your when I told him, and the same goes for his pedophile student, berated Enma. Hiruzen blushed at his summons remark and didn't reply them. Everything that Enma said was true. Enough talk, die, cried Danzo while he used Mokuton to create roots that attacked from the ground. Hiruzen and Enma dodged them with ease. Enma, transform into the adamantine staff, ordered Hiruzen. The monkey nodded, transforming into an oversized staff that would fit better in the hands of a giant than in an average human's, but Hiruzen grabbed it with ease with a single arm. Then he performed some unknown hand signs with his free hand. Hai Kaze Mizu Tsuchi Rai Bunshins. Fire, wind, water, earth, lighting clones, cried Hiruzen. 5 elemental clones of Hiruzen appeared. However, unlike the normal elemental clones that at first sight looked the same as the creator, the element of each clone was evident at first sight. The fire clone was covered in flames, the earth clone was made of stone, the lighting clone was sparkling with electricity, the water clone leaking water, and the wind clone was transparent. Then he created a single Kage Bunshin that stood at his side. You 5, deal with Danzo, the shadow clone, and me will fight with father, Hiruzen ordered to the elemental clones. The clones nodded and charged at Hiruzen's former friend. Naruto and the other ninjas took a step forward to help, but the Sandaime said no with a gesture. They are my father and my ex-friend, I'm the one who has to fight them. Everyone minus Naruto and Ebisu continue with the mission, you two just watch, he ordered. Father and son began to fight. First they exchanged several jutsus. Due to his senjutsu, Sasuke's jutsus were clearly stronger, but Hiruzen with his knowledge of ninjutsu identified them before his father ended the hand signs and countered them with conjoined jutsus with his clone, like responding to Sasuke's fire jutsus with a water jutsu empowered with a wind jutsu from the clone, or channeling a lighting jutsu through a water one. At one point Sasuke attacked with lighting jutsu, but Hiruzen's clone erected a stone wall while the original used a super hot fire jutsu on it, almost to the melting point. The stone wall, instead of breaking, as usually would happen in contact with a lighting jutsu, dispersed the electricity. I didn't know that fire could be used to reinforce earth against lighting, thought Sasuke. Then it hit him. Wait a moment, you can use all the 5 elements. I was so impressed by that prime mode of yours that I didn't realize it when you created those elemental clones to fight Danzo, exclaimed Sasuke. Finally you realized it, father. Yes, I know, and I can use the 5 basic elements. It's one of the few things about my life that I'm really proud about. It took me an eternity to achieve it, commented Hiruzen while made another combination with his clone. The other ninjas were looking at the Sarutobis at awe. The Naruto clone realized that although he was really strong, he still had to walk a long and hard road before he was worthy to be Hokage. Is there more people who could use all the 5 basic elements? He asked to Ebisu. Yes, but that people only could do it because they had special tools. bloodline limits, or made modifications on their bodies so extreme that they hardly can be called human anymore. The Sandaime is the only person who managed to master them with pure training, explained Ebisu, getting into teacher mode. Should I try to do the same? With the Kage Bunshin training it should be possible for me, commented Naruto. I wouldn't recommend it right now. For a ninja it is better to specialize as much as he can in his primary affinity and then try to master the element that is strong against the one his affinity is weak. That way a ninja won't be at elemental disadvantage against most foes and will have strong jutsus of his favored element at his disposal instead of weak ones of various elements. In your case, to train to master all the elements can be considered a waste of time when you have pure chakra jutsus that ignore the rock-paper-scissors rule about elements and can summon a toad with the proper element when needed. For you it is better to become more skilled with those jutsus and develop variations of them, explained the teacher. Naruto nodded. You are right, I will forget the mastery of all elements until I reach a point where I can advance more in my specialties. However, the old man is impressive. He manages to go toe-to-toe against high-level jutsus just using the proper combination of average ones, he said in awe. Meanwhile the Sarutobis abandoned ninjutsu in favor of close combat. Sasuke Sarutobi must be running out of nature chakra, he can't waste any more with ninjutsu and decided to use his enhanced body to win the combat, thought Ebisu. The monkey man tried an axe quick that Hiruzen blocked with a side of his staff and countered, hitting him with the other side of the weapon. The clone attacked in perfect synchrony and delivered an elbow attack in Sasuke's solar plexus that would have killed him if he had not been an Edo Tensei zombie with Sage mode. Then Hiruzen went into the offensive and Sasuke responded properly, initiating a series of blows that destroyed the scenario like it was made of paper, with Hiruzen only coming unscathed due to his superior skill and indestructible weapon. Suddenly, Sasuke looked behind his back and received a blow from the staff. He got in guard and kept fighting only to suddenly lose his balance and receive another hit. It was when Naruto noticed that the Sandaime's clone was performing subtle hand signs without visible effects. He is using genjutsu, he realized. That's right, a much better way to use a Kage Bunshin as support than attacking jutsus that could hit you, pointed Ebisu. But Dad and Ero Sennin told me that it was almost impossible to use genjutsu against someone using Sage mode due to the nature chakra mixed with the users. That only genjutsu specialists from Kurenai Sensei's level and upwards could do that. I knew that the old man was strong but not that strong, commented Naruto. Now you understand why the Sandaime Hokage got the title of God of Shinobi. Taijutsu, ninjutsu and genjutsu, the three main ninja arts, he is not the number one in any of them but he is among history's top 10 in all of them. Combine it with a mind able to compete with the Naras and Kage chakra levels and you can see why he is the Kage with the longest reign, explained Ebisu. Awesome, it's a pity that there is no more people to watch this. When all this is over I will ask him to fight me to check our difference and then again when I become Hokage to see if I can defeat him, commented Naruto. I'm not sure about the results of that second combat but I'm already eager to see how strong you will be in a few years, thought Ebisu. Meanwhile Sasuke finally realized that his son was using genjutsu against him and began to dispel or to ignore them, but it was too late. He got out of nature chakra and his body lost his monkey features and the power of the Sage mode. Hiruzen took advantage of the temporary exhaustion that his father got when Sage mode was deactivated, reduced the adamantine staff to the size of a normal one and impaled him against the ground. I'm relieved to know that you don't feel pain in this state, father, said Hiruzen while he prepared the freedom seal while his clone performed the hand signs of a jutsu that would damage Sasuke's body enough to affect the Uzumaki protection against seals. However, Sasuke's body began to crumble before he could do anything. You defeated me, my little monkey. I can't believe that you could become so powerful without Sage mode, you made me really proud, said Sasuke. Father, whispered Hiruzen while he kneeled at his father's side. What's going on? Asked Ebisu. I think that it is the closure feeling. Shikamaru told me that the Edo Tensei stops working in those who find it, said Naruto. I see, Sasuke-sama must be really happy to find that his son got so strong in the knowledge that his clan and Konoha ended in good hands liberated him, commented the teacher. The two ninjas decided to look at other way while the Sandaime said goodbye to his father. Ebisu-sensei, why did the old man specifically told us to watch while the rest of ninjas continued the mission, asked Naruto. I think that he wanted you to watch the fight because it was an experience that will help you once you become Hokage, something similar for me, as teacher to watch that fight taught me a lot, said Ebisu. That old man, turning everything into a lesson, mumbled Naruto. He is not called the professor for nothing, chuckled Ebisu. Meanwhile, Sasuke was almost gone and Hiruzen was finishing his farewell. And if you see my wife Biwako, please tell her that everyone in the family misses her and that I'm sorry if I make her wait some years more until we reunite. I want to live to see what will happen with this Shinobi alliance once the war is over, he said. I will. Goodbye son, I will watch for our family in the afterlife. Enjoy the life you have left, whispered Sasuke Sarutobi while he disappeared. A legend left the world again. The Sandaime wiped a tear and got up. It was nice to see Dad again, but now it's time to deal with my biggest failure, he thought while he headed where Danzo was fighting. Much to his despair, the War Hawk, even with his Edo Tensei zombie status and his artificial arm made of Mokuton and Sharingans, couldn't destroy any of Hiruzen's elemental clones. In fact, he was forced to use the Uchiha's forbidden technique Izanagi several times after falling several times against their combined techniques. He looked at the four closed Sharingan eyes on his arm. I got really cocky against Hiruzen's clones. I thought that defeating those clones would be easy, but I didn't take account that they would surpass me in speed and strength, that although I have unlimited chakra and stamina as an Edo Tensei zombie, my speed, reflexes and strength would be still the same as when I died, unlike Hiruzen spawns. I neither expected that the Izanagi would take its price with this regenerating body Sharingans, but it makes sense, it rewrites my reality, the regeneration has nothing to do with it, he thought. He performed the summoning hand signs, bringing the Baku to the battle, a gigantic creature that combined the attributes of an elephant, a tiger and a tapir. The creature began to suck air from his mouth while expelling it from its trunk at very high speed. Danzo used that air to increase his own wind jutsus to attack Hiruzen's clones. To his surprise, 4 of the clones countered back with a combined wind jutsu while the remaining one used a fire jutsu to ignite it. The momentum of the clone's attack surpassed the one from Danzo's and absorbed it, increasing its power, resulting into a gargantuan fireball that enveloped Danzo and the Baku, who had to be unsummoned while Danzo was forced to sacrifice another Sharingan. You are not elemental clones, you were disguised Kage Bunshins all time, he cried. Yes they are, said the real Hiruzen stepping in, you should have realized it earlier, Danzo. Elemental clones look exactly as the creator minus the wind ones that are transparent. You got so used to look down on me that you thought that I actually would send defective elemental clones that would show the element they are made of, for that reason you lost so many Sharingans, your false belief in your own superiority was your doom. The Sandaime dispelled the clones, receiving their memories of the fight against Danzo and their remaining chakra, less than he would have liked. Don't talk to me like I'm already defeated, fool. I have unlimited chakra while you already lost most of yours, and I'm pretty sure that even the younger body you sport now must be tired from fighting your father while I'm not tired at all. You see, the loss of some Sharingans is not a real problem. When this is over I just will take the eyes of some of the resurrected Uchihas, they will grow them back after all, claimed Danzo. How could you have done that? Wasn't it enough that manipulated things to destroy the Uchihas? You also had to desecrate their bodies and steal their eyes? Asked Hiruzen while he attacked Danzo. They were traitors and his eyes were weapons that I confiscated for the village's security, replied Danzo while erecting a Mokuton wall between them. They turned into traitors because you sabotaged all the attempts to reconcile them with the village from both sides. You knew that Shisui was going to use the power his Mangenkyo to make the Uchiha leaders loyal again to the village, and yet you assaulted him to steal his eyes. At that moment the Uchiha rebellion was no longer a rebellion but an act of self-defense after one of the village's leaders betrayed them, cried Hiruzen, destroying the wall with the adamantine staff. You know that it wouldn't have lasted. The village's suspicion about them would have brought us to the same situation again. They had to die to prevent a civil war. Besides, they were doomed anyways. Madara wanted them dead, said Danzo, while his Sharingan eye blazed for a second. Hiruzen noticed how Danzo tried to brainwash him with the power of Shursue's eye, but he brushed it off. While powerful and able to rewrite a person's beliefs, that genjutsu lost most of its effectiveness against an adversary aware of it, especially against a genjutsu master like Hiruzen. Oh yes, that's another treason act. You made a pact with Konoha's biggest traitor on my back instead of informing me of that threat, said Hiruzen. And what would have you done? You would have mobilized the village against him and we would have been crushed. With my plan Konoha got rid of a group of traitors and the means to fight him when he returned, said Danzo showing his arm. Please don't try to sell me that crap. That arm didn't save you when Madara went after you, you only managed to give him Shursue's Mangenkyu Sharingan, more spare Sharingans and more cells from Hashirama-sensei to desecrate. That's another issue that we have to solve, said Hiruzen while attacking with a fire jutsu. I couldn't allow the Mokuton to be lost. It was one of Konoha's foundations, responded Danzo while dodging the attack. The Sandaime appeared from the ground and cut Danzo in half with a huge sword that he unsealed from his sleeves. Danzo used his Izanagi again. Hashirama would have burned himself before allowing anybody to hurt defenseless children so his power could be preserved, cried Hiruzen while he created a Kage Bunshin. The two of them used a combination of water and wind jutsus that hit Danzo just after he reappeared, forcing him to use another eye. Necessary sacrifices for the greater good, thanks to them Konoha and his bloodline will keep the Mokuton for Konoha's future, claimed Danzo trying to stab Hiruzen with his sword. It's very easy to justify necessary sacrifices when you are not the one making them, Danzo, replied Hiruzen while he dodged Danzo's attack and embedded a pair of kunais in two Sharingan eyes so deep that they couldn't regenerate without removing the weapons. It's part of the Hokage's duty to sacrifice the life of his ninjas for the betterment of the village, said Danzo while he tried to remove the kunais. No, the Hokage would never ask his subordinates any sacrifice he wouldn't be willing to do himself. That's one of the reasons Orochimaru and you were never fit for the job, responded Hiruzen while he threw a kunai with an explosive tag that destroyed Danzo's body, too busy removing the previous kunais to notice it. Another Sharingan closed. Danzo tried to use a genjutsu but Hiruzen countered it and responded with one that stunned him for enough time to allow his rival to use another explosive tag with another Izanagi use. None of the combatants noticed that their fight was now being watched by the majority contingent of the Shinobi Alliance, the base already conquered. Now I know why the Sandaime Hokage was respected even in Kumo. We are lucky that he advocated for peace after the Hyuga incident. Even with an aged body he would have caused us irreparable losses, thought Yujito. Danzo was beginning to panic. Even if he managed to defeat Hiruzen he would have to deal with the allied ninjas, including a perfect Jinchuriki and one with enough control of his tailed beast to overwhelm most ninjas. The Sandaime continued with his rant. You think that the will of fire is a stupid ideal, that Konoha should be ruled under the purpose to make it the strongest village so nobody would endanger it, said Hiruzen while he enlarged and smashed Danzo with it, who tried to block it with a Mokuton dome without success. Izanagi again. But you are wrong, that form of thinking would have alienated the whole world against Konoha. Besides, you talk about the will of fire like it was my idea. It is not, it's something that I inherited from Hashirama and Tobirama, the previous Hokages. Konoha was founded under the spirit of cooperation between different sides. For that reason Konoha always opted for the most pacifical solution in conflicts and we always offered our hand to our defeated enemies instead of crushing them, even with the knowledge that they could bite it, said Hiruzen. The most veteran ninjas understood the Sandaime's words, had Konoha had a more ruthless government their village would have burned against the might of Konoha ninjas like the Sannin during the Second War or the Yellow Flash during the Third. Only Hiruzen and his supporters' will to make peace negotiations prevented more blood's heed. Such a foolish thing, babbled Danzo. Think whatever you want, the truth is that you were too scared to trust others, for that reason you wanted to destroy anybody that could be considered a threat, for that reason you brainwashed your followers until they were emotionless drones, not because that would make them more efficient but because they won't betray you if they don't have free will and will sacrifice their lives to protect yours. That's the reason you desecrated the bloodline limits of Konoha's founding clans, not because you wanted to protect the village but because you wanted to protect yourself. You conspired to destroy the Uchihas because you feared and envied their power. The only truth about you, Danzo, is that you are coward, the biggest coward in Konoha's history, a scaredy cat not fit to be a Kage and even less a ninja, stated Hiruzen. That's not true. I did everything for Konoha, replied Danzo. No, you didn't do anything for Konoha. You did everything for the idea you have of Konoha, a place where everyone would be your willingly slave ready to protect you from a world that scares you, cried Hiruzen. Gwahaya. Something in Danzo's mind snapped and he charged recklessly at Hiruzen, like a cornered rat. The Sandaime prepared himself to evade the attack and counterattack with a lighting jutsu, but to his surprise Danzo was not charging at him but at a surprised Kyumo ninja who got caught off guard. In an instant, the now clearly disturbed War Hawk was holding the defendless ninja as hostage, looking at Hiruzen with a crazy grin. Who's scared now, Hiruzen? I see it in your eyes, you are afraid for this scum's life. An enemy of Konoha. How pathetic you can be, cried Danzo, now his cool demeanor completely lost. The rest of ninjas got ready to attack Danzo but Hiruzen told them with a gesture to stay away. Release the kid, I won't repeat myself. Do it now and you will be released of this curse so you can continue with whatever punishment awaits you in the afterlife. Hurt him and I will make sure that said punishment will feel like heaven after I'm done with you, said Hiruzen. Before anybody could move, Danzo threw the ninja towards Hiruzen. The Sandaime was about to catch him when Danzo attacked him with a Mokuton stake that pierced his chest. GG, cried Naruto, getting into four-tails state. However, Danzo used Mokuton to create a circle of trees between the ninjas at him. Naruto and Yujito tried to destroy the trees but they absorbed the chakra of their tailed beasts. The rest of ninjas tried to destroy the trees but thanks to the absorbed chakra they regenerated faster than they were destroyed. They looked powerless how Danzo walked towards the fallen Hiruzen. See, old friend? I was right, your feelings cost you your victory and at the end it is what matters, the winner is the one who is right. This shinobi will fall, Madara's side will win and eventually I will find a way to free myself of his grasp and then I will use the power of the tailed beasts to bring a world order where your stupid ideas, your legacy and those you taught will be just a bad memory, he said. My students. Do you know who are they? Babbled Hiruzen while he grasped his wound. It looks like pain is making you lose your memory, they are Orochimaru, Jiraiya and Tsunade, responded Danzo with a smirk. Who's Tsunade? Babbled Hiruzen. Tsunade? She is the Shodai's spoiled granddaughter, an abysmal gambler and the most renowned medic Nin, said Danzo. Then Hiruzen got up. That's right, I taught the most renowned medic Nin, he said while he applied green chakra into his wound, closing it. What? The old man is a medic Nin too? Cried Naruto. I forgot that, exclaimed Ebisu slapping his forehead, he is the one who introduced Tsunade into medicine, of course he can do medic jutsus. Danzo looked in disbelief how his rival healed the wound until it was completely gone. He tricked me. He pretended that the wound was more severe than it looked, he thought in panic. Hiruzen looked at him with a very serious face, it's over Danzo. Die? At that point Danzo was a broken man, without the will to fight, he barely defended himself from Hiruzen's next attacks and only his most basic survival instincts allowed him to use Izanagi, closing his remaining Sharingan eyes. At the end the last one got closed and Hiruzen smashed Danzo with the adamantine staff. With a disgusted face he applied the freedom seal, sending back his old rival to whatever torment awaited him in the afterlife, never to return. With Danzo gone the other ninjas destroyed the Mokuton barrier easily and gathered around the Sandaime to congratulate him. They looked in awe how the prime mode ended with Hiruzen losing his youthful features and showing again his true age. Naruto gave him a small chakra recharge. "You were amazing old." "I mean Sandaime-sama," said Naruto. "Sandaime-sama? Why the sudden deference? What happened with old man this and old man that? If I knew that seeing me kicking some ass would have taught you some respect I should have done it years ago, Konoha wouldn't have been terrorized with your pranks," joked Hiruzen. Everyone laughed. "Hey! We are in a high-ranking mission in the middle of a war, not at home, it would be improper to talk to you with such familiarity," pointed Naruto. "You really have matured, Naruto. I'm really glad that the power, rank and prestige that you hardly gained during these last years didn't get into your head. If I don't survive this war I will go to the afterlife happy with the knowledge that Konoha, no, the ninja world will end in good hands," thought Hiruzen with a smile. He looked at the gathered ninja. "Our work here is not over, we must attend the wounded, interrogate the prisoners and gather any valuable info and equipment, then return to the base with the report and await further orders. We only won a battle, the war still goings on." The Sandaime in his prime mode fought against the zombified versions of his father Sasuke Sarutobi and his rival Danzo. He manages to defeat them with a combination of his sharp mind, his mastery of taijutsu, genjutsu and ninjutsu that included control of the 5 basic elements and medic jutsu, proving why he earned the titles of Professor and God of Shinobi. Still unaware of his father's victories, Asuma led his squad towards to Odo's main base, according to the intelligence reports. The group included Shikamaru, Ino, the male Suna ninja who participated in the Chunin exams, Sai, Yakumo, Samui and several veterans. "So you were working in a technique to extract a tailed beast from a Jinchuriki without killing him?" asked the assigned Naruto clone to an aged Kiri Jonin with long black hair, a mustache and lens who seemed to be armed with a bubble blower. "Yes, I never had the chance to test it but in theory it should have worked," said Harasame. "It was for Utakata, wasn't it?" asked Naruto realizing that he was the sensei of the deceased Jinchuriki. "That's correct, I suspected that the Yondaime Mizukage was not what he seemed and that he wanted to get the Rokubi from Utakata. For that reason I developed an extraction technique that would keep the Jinchuriki alive in order to save Utakata and to keep the Rokubi away from Yugura," responded Harasame. "And how you were supposed to keep the Rokubi at bay? Did you have a special container?" asked Ino. "No, the technique is supposed to kill the tailed beast transferring using its life force to make the Jinchuriki survive the extraction process," responded Harasame. The two blondes looked at him in shock. "Don't put those faces, the Rokubi eventually would have reformed itself in a few years," he said. Naruto didn't say anything. 2 years ago he would have done anything for a technique that would have freed him of his burden, but after knowing that the fox had a name and having to spend time with him and the other tailed beasts and Jinchurikis he didn't have the animosity towards Kurama that he used to have. Yakumo didn't think the same, happy for being freed from the demon who killed her parents. "Why didn't you told the Kages about the technique?" asked Tango, the Suna ninja of the group. "Without all the tailed beasts Madara can't carry out his plan and the Jinchurikis wouldn't be targets anymore." "He did but the Kages rejected the idea," said Shikamaru. "Why they did it?" asked the Suna nin. As Harasame-san said, the tailed beasts eventually would have reformed, away from the ninja villages where Akatsuki can capture them with interference as soon as they reappear. They proved to have the means to locate and capture them easily. Destroying the beasts only would make them to go into hiding until the beasts reform. "It's better to fight him now that he is exposing himself while we can use the power of the beasts against him," explained Samui. Shikamaru looked at Naruto's resigned expression. That's the reason Minato-sama sealed the Kyuubi into Naruto instead into Kushina when she was dying from the extraction. The Kyuubi had to be away from Madara's grasp. I'm sorry Naruto, your family never had to make that sacrifice to keep the village safe, especially after how they thanked you for that. But this will end soon. This time we will defeat Madara for real, and then as your future advisor I will help you to create a world where there won't be the need to create Jinchurikis to keep peace, he thought. We are arriving to the enemy base, interrupted Asuma. Naruto, Sai, did you get some info from your scouts? Naruto dispelled one of the two clones he sent ahead, transformed into birds. Shadow clones combined with true transformation, the ultimate jutsu combination for scouting, he thought while he received the info. There are a pair of sentinels at the entrance, they shouldn't give us much trouble, he said. My ink mice report the same, said Sai. I see, Tango, active your sound suppression jutsu. Moments later the group arrived to the base, without the guards noticing. Harasame created a bubble that turned Samui transparent, then she headed towards one of the guards with her tanto in hand while Shikamaru focused his attention in the shadow of the other guard while he formed on his hand the sword made of shadows that he used in the Chunin exams. With a quick movement, Samui dispatched her guard. Before the other guard could react, Shikamaru impaled his blade into his own shadow. Said blade emerged from the guard's shadow, piercing his heart. Ino paled at the vision. She was still not used at Shikamaru's ruthlessness even after he told their team that he was a time traveler who experienced another fourth ninja war. What a fearsome technique, thought Samui. According to Kumo's data books, the Naras are lots of brain, little brawn and all laziness, terrific strategists who highly improve the effectiveness of their team but very weak ninjas on their own. This one not only has a brain but power to back it, he also has the eyes of a war veteran. I wonder what he experimented in his past to turn like that at his age. He is barely a year younger than me. The group waited until other squads arrived and got into the base where they proceeded to hunt down enemy nins. Yakumo's superior genjutsu abilities proved to be invaluable to catch the enemies off guard, at least until one of them accidentally blew an explosive tag when he was disabled, alerting the base. Now that they were discovered, the infiltration mission turned into a full assault. To their surprise, the majority of the enemies happened to be humans and Zetsu. Clones, no Edo Tensei zombies. One of the prisoners mentioned that the new Hokage forbid them to enter in the base to not sully this recently sanctified soil with their no life because they are an offense to his god, mentioned Ino while they headed to the Hokage's chambers. Shikamaru looked at her with an annoyed face. Offense to his god? Don't tell me that the new Hokage is. Yes, it's me, shitheads, said a familiar voice. Before them stood Haiden of Jashin, the new Hokage, flanked by his students Dosu, Zaku and Kin and Taiyuya and Jirobo, the surviving members of the Sound Four. Asuma looked at the man who killed him in the original timeline. They didn't have the chance to fight during the invasion of Konoha due to Haiden being one of the enemies defeated by Minato when he revealed his identity and took off the gloves. We should have cut you into pieces and spread them throughout the elemental countries instead of putting you into a cell. How did you escape? Asked Asuma while he got in guard with his knives. Like I'm going to tell ya, sucker. You may not remember it, but you were supposed to be a rightful sacrifice to Lord Jashin. Be nice and let me deliver you a quick and painless death, replied Haiden. Asuma noticed the tension growing on Shikamaru, who was advancing towards the Jashinist. He stopped his student with a gesture. Don't worry, story won't repeat itself. I will live to see the birth of my child and you becoming Jonin commander, thought Asuma. Haiden focused his attention on Shikamaru. I neither forgot about you. When I'm done with your sensei, I will cut all your limbs, bury you alive and then bless you with a fragment of my immortality so you won't die. I will keep you as an example of Jashin's wrath, he said. What a troublesome rancorous guy. And how do you expect to do that? You are heavily outnumbered, pointed Shikamaru. Haiden made a sign and several panels on the walls opened, revealing several men and women dressed as prisoners. Now we are the one outnumbered, but they don't look very tough, commented Sai with his trademark smile. Really? asked Haiden while he made another signal. The newcomers began to have spasms, and Shikamaru took notice of the marks that they had in their necks. Shit! It's Orochimaru's curse seal. The marks stretched through the prisoners' bodies while they began to transform into hideous forms. Some prisoners grew horns, most of them got claws, and a good amount of them grew exoskeletons. How is it possible? According to the records, the majority of people who gets the curse seal dies or turns unable to fight, said Asuma. That's right, these poor souls used to be Orochimaru's failed experiments, but thanks to Jashin's blessings I managed to give them full control of those seals, said Haiden. A glance of the enemy forces and his own was enough for Shikamaru to realize that they were screwed, no matter how strong they were at individual level. With their level 2 curse seals, none of these enemies could be considered cannon fodder. They would have to use of the Shinobi Alliance's aces in the hole if they wanted to survive. Naruto, we are at great disadvantage, we will have to use the shock tactic number 4, he whispered to Naruto while he got at his side. Number 4. Ah, the one with Rashi Aji-san, responded Naruto while he planted a Hiraishin kunai on the ground. Shikamaru nodded. Yes, come back as soon as possible, said the Nara. Naruto disappeared in a yellow flash. What the, censored? The blonde censored must have gone for reinforcements, cried Taiyuya while she transformed into her level 2 state. To Shikamaru's surprise, Dosu, Zaku and Kin revealed to have their own curse marks and also transformed. Probably Kabuto's doing, he thought. The enemy forces advanced towards them, but the Nara planted his hands in the ground and a barrier made of shadow surrounded the allied group. One of the experiments charged towards the barrier, but as soon as he got in contact with it he was shredded like paper. See cold, he muttered before he expired. After realizing that they couldn't attack, Taiyuya began to curse at Shikamaru, with promises of pain and several nasty promises of what she would do to his manhood once she caught him. Why all the women I know, friend or foe, have to be so troublesome, thought Shikamaru while he concentrated to keep the barrier. Language Taiyuya, said Jirobo while he transformed. Shut up, lard ass. As soon as that barrier is gone, pick an enemy and break his ass. A barrier like this created individually can't last very long even when it is maintained with a person with Jonin level chakra reserves, responded Taiyuya. Let me deal with the blonde slut, I owe her one, intervened Zaku referring to Ino. I will fight the other. The one with the padding, said Kin. Are you talking about me? I have to point that I don't use padding, but you and the filthy-mouthed redhead would make a good use of it, responded Samui, clearly annoyed. Shut up, stupid cow, cried Kin and Taiyuya at the same time. I can't believe that they are discussing about that in the middle of a war, thought Harasame. Sai took mental notes. Those girls are jealous of those bigger boobs than them, that means that they are less likely to help the fat one if he is attacked or to attack Yakumo-chan, he thought. Said girl felt the need to smack her boyfriend in the head. The sound forces tried to destroy Shikamaru's barrier with different jutsus, but it absorbed and expelled them from other side, keeping those inside the barrier safe. Shikamaru for his part was already making plans for the worst case. I only have chakra to keep this for 2 minutes more, if Naruto doesn't come back in another minute I will release the barrier and try to eliminate as much enemies as I can. Keeping the barrier until I'm out of chakra only would lead to our forces fighting with less manpower and trying to protect me, he thought. Fortunately they were not in a work of fiction where the help appeared just in the last second just for the drama. Naruto came back 15 seconds later accompanied by a middle-aged red-head man. It's Rashi, the Yonbi Jinchuriki, cried Zaku. Why he? His jutsus are too dangerous to be used in this place with so many of his allies around and he has no space to transform into the Yonbi, thought Dosu. Rashi took a look at the surroundings, gauging the enemy forces. Now I see why you called me, okay let's do it, he said while he got wrapped with an orange chakra cloak with the shape of the 4 tails. Haiden and his forces looked puzzled when Rashi put his arm on Naruto's back, who got surrounded by an identical cloak and began to extend arms made of chakra towards his allies. Whoever was touched by those chakra arms also got surrounded by the Four Tails chakra cloak while having their chakra reserves restored. The ninjas of the alliance felt exhilarated by the chakra of Son Goku, never feeling so powerful in their lives, minus Shikamaru, who already experimented a similar feeling in the original timeline. Son Goku's power is amazing, a mere fraction of Kurama's but still impressive, he thought while he retired his barrier. Samui looked in awe at her hands covered by the cloak. Such power, and B-sensei holds a Jinchuriki with the double of tails, no wonder why he is so energetic, she thought. Ino was having similar thoughts about Naruto. Now I feel bad for criticizing him for being unable to be quiet, she thought. I feel like I could move mountains with this power. I wonder what kind of creatures I can draw in this state. I wonder what is Yakumo-chan, thought Sai. For said girl, who had been limited by a weak body for most her life, to be filled with such power was almost like to be born again. She was tempted to cry, run and jump as much as she could just to test the limits of that power, but the discipline and temperance that she acquired with his genjutsu training and physical rehabilitation allowed her to keep her cool. When this is over I have to ask Naruto-san and Rashi-san for another share, she thought. Harasame for his part was feeling a bit of regret for wanting to strip away Utakata of such power. Finally, Naruto was feeling more energetic than ever. Son Goku's power is awesome. I'm going to kick everyone's ass, he thought. Pfft, if you are so impressed by that monkey's chakra you are more simple than I imagined, commented Kurama. Are you jealous? Asked Naruto. No, I'm not, just disdainful. Just be grateful that I allowed the monkey to pour some of his chakra into my territory, replied Kurama. Hey! My chakra system is my territory, complained Naruto. Kurama didn't bother to respond. Ignoring the fox's antics, Naruto was about to share the chakra with Asuma but he rejected the offer. I will do fine by myself, reserve it for those who get depleted, he said. Rashi looked satisfied at his allies. I'm glad to see that the theory to use Naruto as vessel to share your chakra with everyone works, but I find a bit unfair that they didn't have to spend years training to have access to it, he thought. I would have happened earlier had you been less stubborn and asked for my help instead of trying to get it by yourself, said Son Goku. Yes, I know, responded Rashi without denying it. He looked at Naruto. That chakra should be enough to deal with those freaks. I will send the info to the boss, he said before poofing, revealing that the Rashi who came was a clone. Haiden was looking angry. What the hell? You cheaters. You can't just use the power of a legendary beast like it was your own, he cried. Said the guy who uses the power of a god while his goons have curse marks that make them stronger, thought Asuma. He pointed his finger at the Otokage. Look at me, I'm not using any power-ups, face me and let's end with this, he said. Yes, let's fix the unbalance that you are causing with your life, responded Haiden. Both armies charged at each other. At first some of the allies had trouble to fight with the extra power but they adapted to it soon and began to gain the upper hand in the battle. It helped that the majority of their adversaries were mentally unstable from Orochimaru's experiments and that they had little experience in real combat, with many of them being people of little talent who approached Orochimaru for a quick way to get stronger. There were exceptions. Taiyuya and Jirobo were upper Chunin level without their curse marks while the Sound Trio were mid Chunin level without them. With the marks active they were a serious menace for anybody below Kages and elite Jonins. It didn't help that Taiyuya was now immortal and that the Sound Trio came to her help whenever she got incapacitated, giving her time to recover. How does she manage to keep swearing without a thorax whenever I cut her head? I don't want to sound sexist but I suspect that Jashin may be a woman for granting her followers the ability to talk even when it would be physically impossible, thought Shikamaru. Other ninjas were doing better. Sai was riding on a dragon made of supercharged ink that expelled black fire to his enemies. Ino was making the enemy forces to fight each other. Samui was moving like she was made of wind among the enemies while cutting them with ease without them realizing what was happening due to Yakumo's illusions. Naruto was coming with even more lethal variations of the Rasengan. Haiden extended his scythe to cut Asuma, but the Jonin evaded the attack and responded with a fire jutsu that the Jashinist avoided too. "You are a lot faster than the reports from the original timeline pointed," said Asuma. "The same goes for you, it looks like you trained to elude your fate, really pointless," responded Haiden while he performed a swing that Asuma blocked with his extended trench knives. "Really? According to what I was told, the only reason you managed to kill me was because you had Kakuzu's help, that without him you were just a brainless one-trick pony who got defeated with a very obvious trap," said Asuma while attacking with wide swings. To his surprise, Haiden jumped backwards to avoid them instead of taking them head-on. "It looks like he became less reckless," he thought. "I think that it is time to get serious," commented Haiden while he drew a circle in the ground and his skin began to change color until he looked like he painted himself to look like a skeleton. "That's the technique Shikamaru warned me about. Now if he tastes somebody's blood he will share his wounds with that person. But I don't understand his strategy. He didn't get my blood yet and the technique only works as long he is inside the circle. Why did he activated the technique?" thought Asuma. He looked at his surroundings to check that there was not a follower of Haiden ready to make a sneak attack, but all them were fighting his forces. Then Haiden surprised him, moving faster than ever, with the circle moving with him. He managed to avoid a mortal attack but couldn't prevent the Jashinist to make a small gash on his cheek. Haiden now had Asuma's blood on his scythe. "Surprised? You didn't imagine that I would improve my technique to make the circle move with me. It's over, Asuma Sarutobi. Don't worry, your student and friends will follow you soon," he said while he approached the drops of blood to his mouth. However, just before he could lick, the drops of blood exploded in flames, burning. "What the FAQ if thif," he cried while he retreated several meters. "I just got prepared for the worst case scenario," responded Asuma. "That's my burning blood technique. When it's active it allows me to ignite the blood that leaves my body. Although I developed it to counter your technique, it's really useful against adversaries specialized in close combat. Once it is revealed it makes them think twice before trying to wound me, said Haiden while his tongue ended healing. He deactivated his technique, no longer useful against somebody whose blood he couldn't taste. "Do you think that it gives you the upper hand? I just will have to kill you the old-fashioned way. I don't care for some burns. I'm immortal, you are not. You will eventually fall," he said while he got into a fighting stance. Asuma responded, performing some swings with his weapons. "What? Are you trying to intimidate me showing your skill?" asked Haiden in a mocking tone. "No," responded Asuma, "it was an attack." Suddenly Haiden felt how his hands and head dropped to the ground while his torso kept standing. "What? How could you do that? We were 4 meters apart," he cried. "That's my other new technique, or more precisely it is an improvement of my ability to use wind chakra to increase the reach of my trench knives. After Minato ended with my monopoly of the ability on Konoha, I trained to be the best with it. Now I can cut things in a 6-meter radius," said Asuma. "Very impressive technique, but this is not over. I also have another technique improve, more precisely my immortality," cried Haiden. Asuma looked with a mixture of horror and fascination when Haiden's hands began to crawl towards his torso and reattach themselves in the arms, then the torso began to move on his own to grab Haiden's head and reattached it. "See? Cutting me into pieces won't work anymore. I can make my body parts to move when they separated of my head. The trap that your student used to stop me won't work anymore," he cried. "I see. You used that technique to escape. Nobody thought that your detached parts could move on their own," commented Asuma. "That's right," exclaimed Haiden. "What are you going to do now?" Asuma responded with a vertical slash that cut Haiden in 2 symmetrical parts. The 2 half Haidens lost balance and crawled on the ground while babbling unintelligibly nonsense. "Just as I thought. While immortal, your body and mind still have some physical limitations, like being impossible to think properly when you have half a brain," he said. Meanwhile, the battle was over with the allies winning with no losses, the enemy combatants dead or captured. Harasame took care of the prisoners, trapping them with his bubbles. Said prisoners included Taiyuya, Jirobo, the Sound Trio and the Hiden Halves, each one in a bubble. Asuma looked at his forces. Good work everyone, with the Otokage down and the raids in the other bases. Oto is officially defeated, the first phase to win the war is complete, let's go back to the base, he said. After several battles against the combined forces of Akatsuki and the minor villages, the Ninja Alliance deployed a combined force that attacked Oto's main base, where they found out that Hiden was the new Otokage. With new fearsome power and stronger than ever, he had another battle against Asuma, only to find out that the man who once was his sacrifice became stronger than in the original timeline and defeated him, cutting the immortal in half, bypassing his immortality. With Oto's fall, several squads were ordered to gather and classify all the resources and valuable information they could find in Oto's bases, while others were ordered to help in the establishment of several bridgeheads for the Alliance's future attack to liberate Kumo. Days passed and several members of the Konoha 18 and some of the new friends they made coincided in one of those new bases. So Akatsuki and their allies are concentrating themselves in Kumo and its surroundings? Asked Kiba. Yes, responded Shino. The Uzumakis erected a massive barrier with fuinjutsu that can't be penetrated even by the strongest jutsus and prevents teleportation within its boundaries. Really, they can create something like that? Have the Kages tried to send the perfect Jinchurikis to break it with their Bijidamas? Asked Sari, one of the Suna ninjas who participated in the Chunin exams. No, one of the most fearsome qualities of that type of barrier is that it absorbs the jutsus thrown at it to replenish itself, pointed Shino. Can't the yellow flash counter the barrier? I heard from B-sensei that he is more skilled in seals than most Uzumakis, that the only one who surpasses him is the Yuzukage himself, pointed Karui. That barrier only can be manipulated from inside. Dad said that there is something that could break it, but he didn't want to tell more about it. Confidential information, said the local Naruto clone. That barrier sounds really overpowered, it should have some kind of weakness, said Chuji. Yes, chakra consumption, barriers eat lots of chakra. The most powerful ones require people with at least Jonin chakra reserves or several people working together, responded Naruto. So that means that our enemies are spending tons of chakra to maintain that barrier surrounding Kumo, deducted Sari. That must be one of the reasons of Yuzu's fall. Even with their massive chakra reserves they couldn't maintain an island-size barrier of that power indefinitely, commented Kiba. I wonder what would have happened had Yuzu had someone with Naruto's chakra-sharing power. With the low-level ninjas and the civilians' collaboration they could have established a stand until reinforcements from Konoha arrived, thought Karui. But those brought back with Edo Tensei seem to have infinite chakra reserves. That means that they can keep the barrier as much as they want, said Chuji. Yeah, how can it be possible, a jutsu like that? Regeneration and infinite chakra as long as the user keeps the jutsu active. Where do those zombies get their chakra from? Asked Karui. They began to look at Naruto. Why is everybody looking at me? Asked Naruto. Your father is the ninja of the Alliance who is most familiar with the jutsu. He trained in the afterlife with the Nidaime, the one who created it. He is also the one who created the seal that allows us to destroy the zombies, pointed Shino. Yes, but it doesn't mean that I know everything he knows and, oh wait, when we were waiting for our ramen I remember that he mentioned something about the Edo Tensei requiring living sacrifices to activate it and something about causing spiritual unbalance between the worlds of the living and the dead or something like that. I don't remember well. Old man Ichiraku appeared with our orders. Man, I wish I had a bowl of his ramen right here, commented the Naruto clone with dreamy eyes. Everyone's sweat dropped minus Kiba and Akamaru, who laughed at the clone's antics. Wah, ha, 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 ha. You may have become the strongest of our group and nobody doubts now that you will become Hokage, but you are still the same ramen obsessed dude who used to skip school with Akamaru, Shikamaru, Chuji and me, laughed Kiba. I was also there, didn't they notice me, thought Shino. I thought that clones couldn't eat, "Are you the original?" asked Sari. "What? No, I'm not. As a clone I'm just an extension of the original, with the same tastes and needs. I have the impulse to eat although I don't need to diet," said the clone. He began to explain to the others what it was to be a clone, the relationship with the original and his point of view of his limited existence. Shino looked at him with his usual poker face. "Sometimes I forgot that we are dealing with your clones, Naruto. If things go smoothly we won't see the real you until the war is over. Unfortunately it is very likely that it won't happen," he thought. Meanwhile, in a medical facility of the Shinobi Alliance, a multinational team of surgeons and assistants reviewed the details of the patient's profile while a chunin from Suna on his mid-teens prepared to unseal the scroll containing said patient. The patient got impaled by a spear, grazing his heart. His squad didn't have a medic nin who could tend him, so the squad leader ordered Naruto Uzumaki, or his clone, to seal him and send the scroll with the Hiraition technique, said Yurushi, a Konoha nin in his 20s in charge of the operation. He looked at one of the assistants, a Hyuga girl. "Okay, Hinata-san, we will have little time to remove the spear. You will have to guide us in the removal with your Byakugan to make sure that we don't cause major damage. As soon as it is removed we will proceed to heal the patient," he said. "Understood, I will do my best," responded Hinata. "I'm ready to unseal the patient, just give me the order," announced Seiya Urashima, the chunin in charge of the unsealing. "Okay, let's go with it," ordered Yurushi. The procedure lasted just 20 minutes thanks to Hinata's guidance and the skill of the medics. It ended with the application of some of the healing salve that was created with Naruto and Minato's blood. Then they took a 10 minutes rest and proceeded to attend another sealed patient. They kept with that routine until afternoon when they were ordered by the head medic Shizun to take a 3-hour break. "But there are other patients waiting," protested one of the medics, a Kiri veteran from the previous war. "You won't help them if you are burnt out," replied Shizun. "Due to their sealed status they won't get worse and they won't mind to wait some hours to get attended if it means that the medical team treating them is at full capacity." "Yes, I see your point. I still find strange that we are attending the war wounded one by one and with time to prepare their procedures, without the sense of urgency that we had in field hospitals when several wounded soldiers arrived at the same time and our priority was to stabilize them. It's such a great change. I find it really unfair for all those who couldn't get medical attention on time in the Third War," said the veteran. "Yes it is, but we are in a war against enemies so terrible that we have to optimize the use of our resources and exploit all our advantages. That includes our medics having the chance of a good rest," said Shizun. The medics nodded. Some of them headed to the barracks to take a nap, others got out to get some fresh air or began to socialize. Seiya gathered the scrolls and prepared them to be delivered back to the front lines. While he worked he couldn't help but to send glances to the Hyuga girl. "You should look somewhere else, that girl is out of your reach," said Yurushi. What? How? Oh crap, is it so obvious?" babbled Seiya. "She didn't notice yet but she will eventually." "Better forget about it, she won't return whatever feelings you may have for her," said Yurushi. "It is because we are from different villages and that she is from a very prestigious and closed clan, isn't it?" said Seiya. "Those are good reasons, but the main reason she wouldn't give you a chance is because she is engaged with a ninja of her village and she really loves her fiancé," said Yurushi. "Are really? I never imagined that." "Who is the lucky Konoha ninja?" asked Seiya, trying to hide his disillusion. "The Prince of Konoha nonetheless, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, son of the Yondaime Hokage, Jinchuriki of the Kyubi and one of the most valuable ninjas of the Shinobi Alliance. He is the one who sealed a good chunk of the ninjas we attended and his blood was used to create some of the medicines we used to treat them," said Yurushi. Okay. I understand, I have no chance to compete against Uzumaki-san. He is also known in Suna due to his friendship with Gaara-sama. He opened many eyes when he visited the village years ago. Until that visit most the village saw Gaara-sama as a monster," commented Seiya. Unfortunately, until Yondaime-sama secretly came back, Konoha was not better with Naruto-san. He was also hated by most of the village for hosting the Kyuubi, and those who saw past the hate could do little due to politics. If only had she been there, said Urushi. What are you talking about? Asked Seiya. Nothing, just regretting what couldn't happen. Forget about it and get something to eat, you will need it, responded Urushi. Still confused by the medic Nin's words, Seiya got out from the facility and took a good look at the city it was located, the hidden village of Iwa. I never imagined that I would end destined here of all places when the war started. I think I will check that restaurant that Akatsuchi recommended us. He said that the owner is pretty friendly with foreigners, he thought. On his way to the restaurant he ignored the stares and blank expressions from Iwa's villagers that he and other foreign ninjas had to deal with since their arrival. Even tough the villages were now allies, many civilians were having a hard time accepting it. While the villagers were not hostile, they had no problem to state that they would be pretty happy if the foreign ninjas were somewhere else. However, this time Seiya noticed that the distrust looks he was receiving were more intense than ever, and some of them showing a bit of fear. What is going on with them? They are less friendly than usual. What could have happened that? Oh crap, they must have found out about my cover, he thought in horror. He headed towards an alley. I will create a clone with this appearance, use a henge to disguise myself, and then. He stopped his musings when he felt a hostile presence behind him. I know that you are there, stop hitting, he said. A figure clad in black charged from the shadows holding a pointed weapon. He dodged it with ease and noticed two things: the figure was really small and the weapon, for some reason, was an oversized syringe. What the? Who are you? Why are you attacking me with that? He asked. The attacker charged again and Seiya just jumped over him like it was the easiest thing in the world. Then the attacker tried to stab him at close quarters but couldn't do anything due to Seiya taking advantage of his longer reach while he blocked the attacks with a kunai. Could you stop trying to stab me with that? You must be mistaken, I'm just an average sealing specialist working at the medical facility, I'm not important enough for someone to have a hit on me, he said. To his surprise, the attacker responded with a very childish and girly voice. Don't make a fool out of me, I know who you are. Naruto Uzumaki, Prince of Konoha, cried the attacker. So you know the truth, responded Seiya with a very serious tone while he dispelled his henge, revealing himself as Naruto Uzumaki. The attacker looked at him with glee. She removed the mask, revealing herself as a girl about 6 years old with a very shaggy hair. What? A little girl? She shouldn't be older than Hanabi-chan, why is she attacking me with that syringe, thought Naruto. I knew it. They were right about your identity. Wait, is that your true appearance? Weren't you supposed to be 2 meters tall? She asked. Yeah, and I eat babies for breakfast, responded Naruto in a sarcastic tone. For some reason, whenever he was introduced to people who was aware of his exploits, many of them felt a bit disappointed to find out that he was a boy barely 13 instead of the tall and powerful ninja they imagined. Wait? You eat babies? She cried in horror. What? Of course not, responded Naruto. Then don't lie. Liars are awful persons, she cried. I was just joking, are you so stupid that you can't get that? Responded Naruto. I'm not stupid, you meanie, she cried. Meanie? You are the one who is attacking me without provocation, cried Naruto. For some moments the girl blushed at his remark, but then she got a serious face and charged again. Shut up. I'm doing this to help a very important person for me, she cried while she tried to impale Naruto again with the syringe. To help an important person for her. Oh, I see, that's the reason behind the syringe, realized Naruto. Since the revelation of the healing properties of Minato and Naruto's blood at the end of Orochimaru's invasion, father and son have been receiving requests from people from all the elemental nations asking for some samples to heal their ailments, leading to the creation of a new department in Konoha's hospital to manage said requests and Minato and Naruto to make almost daily blood contributions. A diet that included blood-replenishing pills and a great increase in the Uzumaki clan's earnings. At least until the war started, when it was decided that the reserves of healing blood would be used to create medicines for the soldiers. However, it didn't stop the requests for blood and led to several voices demanding to keep Dad and me away from the front lines, thought Naruto. The Kages ignored them, of course, but it foreshadowed an issue that our family will have to face in the future when the war is over. Now I understand why Dad's ancestors were so adamant to hide the power of our blood and, oops, she almost hit me. I should focus more, Dadabeo. He kept dodging the girl's attacks for several minutes until she began to pant and fell to the ground exhausted. You know, if you wanted some of my blood you could have asked for it, he said while he knelt at the girl's side. Pant, would you have given some, blood to me like that? Pant, she asked. Well, technically the persons who request the blood are supposed to be investigated to make sure that they are not a threat to Konoha and that they really need it, and unless you are Fire Country citizen it is not free, said Naruto. He noticed the little girl's disillusioned face. But at the end it's my blood and I have the final say about who receives it. Thanks to Kurama I can sense negative emotions and I can say that you are not evil at all. I felt that you were regretting what you were doing when you attacked me, he said. The girl's eyes illuminated at Naruto's words. Really? Are you going to help my papa? She asked. Sure, let me send a message to Shizune Taicho and we will go to see your dad, said Naruto while he used the message bracer to inform about his situation. Thank you, cried the girl while she hugged Naruto's leg. Geez, I didn't do anything yet. By the way, what is your name? He asked. My name is Kaka, sorry for attacking you, Naruto Uzumaki. Namikaze-sama, she said. Just calm me, Naruto, leave the sama for the time I become Hokage, said Naruto while he ended to write the message. Okay, take me to your home. Kaka nodded and guided Naruto outside the alley. Tell me, how did you find out that Seiya Urashima was me? Only my parents, the Kages, and their most trusted ninjas knew about it. They created a fake profile for Seiya and Mom even made a seal that partly masks and disguises my chakra signature so censors wouldn't identify me, he said. It looks like a pair of those who knew the secret were talking about it when they were passing near an old lady's house and didn't notice that she was listening behind a curtain. Then she told other old ladies and they told to other people, said Kaka. So that explains why people in this village was glaring at me harsher than usual. They knew who I was. Geez, there is nothing like old hags to find out secrets and divulge them. The old man Sandame told me that it only took 5 minutes for everyone in Konoha to know about Kurama sealed inside me after an old woman found out about it, commented Naruto. Grannies are terrifying, said Kaka. Yeah, Ero Sennin mentioned that most of his spy network is made of unknowingly old women from the places he visits. He just listens to their chatter and filters the relevant info, said Naruto. You, Naruto-san, why is people looking at you like that? Do they also want your blood? Asked Kaka after she noticed the glares that Iwa's villagers were sending to Naruto. Yes, they want it, but in a different way. Are we there yet? He asked. Yes, look, that's my home, said Kaka while she pointed to a medium-sized building. It had a sign that said orphanage. An orphanage? She said that the blood was for her dad. Oh, I see, she must consider one of the caretakers as her father, he thought. Kaka waved her hand to some kids who were playing with the swings near the entrance. Naruto noticed the wary looks they were sending to him, but they were not as distrustful as the adult villagers. However, the teenage ninja at the entrance was making very clear by the negative feelings he was radiating that he was not pleased by Naruto's presence. Naruto-san, please wait here a little, I have to announce your arrival, said Kaka. He saw the girl talking to the teenager, They argued a little while the teenager pointed at him, but at the end he allowed them to enter, but not before he warned Naruto that he would kill Naruto if he tried to do something to Kaka, their father, or anybody inside the orphanage. I'm sorry for Sato-ni-chan's attitude. He distrusts Konoha's people. His first papa and his first mama died fighting someone from Konoha called the Yellow Flash when he was a little, and, oh wait, that was you, papa. No wonder why he was so angry, realized Kaka. Well, I'm surprised that he didn't jump at me when he saw me. I probably would have attacked him had our situations been the opposite, commented Naruto. Mama told him that he shouldn't hate your papa, he was just doing his job, that hate would bring another war that would leave more kids without their families, said Kaka. That must be another caretaker, a very wise woman, thought Naruto. He took a good look at the place. Although Naruto has been an orphan for most his life, it was the first time he was in an orphanage. Konoha used to have one, but it was closed at the beginning of the Third War, and after it ended Konoha adopted its current system to take care of its orphans. For all Naruto knew, there were two types of orphanages. The first type were basically jails for children ruled by evil matrons that would force the kids to work in clandestine factories or to beg on the streets and keep their earnings while forcing them to eat scraps and pig's will, have them dressed in rags and sleeping in crumbling beds without heat. He couldn't imagine how it would have been to be growing in a place like that, especially with the stigma of being the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki. The second type were places where there was always a plate with enough, tasty food for each kid, worn out but warm and clean beds and clothes, and loving caretakers who were practically adoptive parents. Seeing the clean spaces, the scattered toys and the smiling children, at least until they saw Naruto, he deducted that he was in one of those places. Kaka led Naruto to a room where there was a man with the same shaggy hair as her fixing some toys. "Hello, Papa," she said while she jumped to his lap to hug him. "Cough, Kaka-chan, where have you been?" "Cough, you missed your lessons," he said. "I went to find a new friend who will help Mom to heal you. Soon you will be able to run and play ninja games with us," exclaimed Kaka. At the time the man noticed Naruto, his kind expression turned into one distrust. The blonde Jinchuriki could felt a mixture of negative emotions coming from him. He put down Kaka, took off a kunai and got up with difficulty, needing a cane to stand. However, by his posture and the way he handled the kunai, Naruto could deduct that the man was a veteran ninja. He probably got hurt in a mission and his wounds were beyond the skill of Iwa's medics, he thought. "Kaka, cough, are you aware who you brought to our home?" asked the man. "Yes, he is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. He said that he was going to share his blood to heal you," said Kaka. "She says the truth, I didn't come here to cause harm," said Naruto. Then to his surprise the man began to laugh. "You, the Prince of Konoha, came, cough, to help me? Ha ha ha. Cough, it's obvious that you don't know who I am," he said. "No, I don't know who are you and why you think that I won't help you. It's because you fought against Konoha in the last war? It is something from the past. Konoha and IWA are now allies," responded Naruto. "I don't think that your, cough, father would be happy to know that you helped, cough, the man who destroyed his genin team," said the man. "Who?" "My name, cough, is Kako. I used to be an IWA jonin. During, cough, the previous war I had an encounter with your father's genin team, cough, and captured their medic Nin, a girl called Rin, to, cough, interrogate her and use her to heal our troops. Her teammates, an Uchiha and Kakashi Hatake, came to her rescue, cough. During the fight I collapsed the cave they were in and killed the Uchiha. However, the girl and Kakashi survived, and the later, using the Uchiha's Sharingan, cough, impaled me with his infamous Chidori. I managed to avoid being hit in the heart before losing consciousness, but the attack, cough, damaged my lung and my spine permanently. I woke up to find my platoon destroyed by your father, and I would have died if another IWA team didn't appear," he said. Naruto couldn't believe what he was listening. This is the man who killed Obito. I can't believe that he survived. I wonder how would react Kakashi-sensei, he thought. After thinking for a while he talked. I see, he said, for what you said I shouldn't help you, but it didn't change my mind. I promised Kaka-chan that I was going to donate my blood and I don't go back on my word. You were just doing your work, as Kakashi-sensei. I don't feel that you are a bad guy. You are taking care of these kids and they look really happy. After all, Kako didn't know what to say. Before he could respond, a fourth person got into the room. Hi mama, said Kaka while she hugged the woman. Hello Kaka-chan, what's that thing your siblings are babbling about, you taking a Konoha ninja here? Asked the woman. Naruto looked at her and couldn't help but to think that she was really beautiful with her light brown hair, kind smile and green eyes. The big round glasses Whe wore helped to give her a motherly appearance. She looked at Naruto. Ah, you must be Kaka-chan's friend. My name is Nono, welcome to our home, she said. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise when he recognized the name. Elsewhere, an Akatsuki squad was heading towards Iwa after one of their spies found out the location of the real Uzumaki Naruto from an old lady, one of them with half his body completely scarred.
That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.